What is up, everyone? It's Quinn here, and in today's video, I'm going to continue going through my 2025 fantasy football rankings. I've already gone through my top 24 running backs and wide receivers. Today, we're going to go through my top 12 quarterback rankings. And I think this is a really interesting year for quarterbacks. Typically, you kind of have these segmented tiers where there are a few quarterbacks who are like your elite upside, your super high ceiling dudes who are going in the first 2, 3, 4 rounds. Then you have kind of a crop of dudes going in the middle rounds, and then like that later round tier where you're kind of just picking your guy. This year, it seems like you still have those elite options, but it seems like that middle tier isn't really there. And some of those late round options could potentially provide a lot of upside for you heading into this season. So would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know who should be higher, lower down below in the comments. If you enjoy, hit that like button and subscribe. But let's just dive right into tier 1 here. Don't think this is going to be super controversial with the two dudes in this tier. I think you could flip these guys, 1, 2, 2, 1, however you want to do it. I went with Lamar Jackson as my quarterback 1 and then Josh Allen as my quarterback 2. We have seen Lamar Jackson finish as the quarterback 1 in points per game in 2 different seasons. He has been a top 8 quarterback in points per game for 6 straight seasons. And in 2024, he was the quarterback 1, but not just by like a small margin. He was the quarterback 1 by 3 full points per game. On the other side here with Josh Allen, he has been a top 3 quarterback in points per game for 5 straight seasons. So maybe hasn't had quite like the same elite upside as Lamar Jackson, who has like the highest point per game number of any quarterback ever, but a little bit more consistency. I think it's fair to give the slight edge to Lamar, given the fact that he has a similar group of weapons returning this season. For Josh Allen, he had his worst season since 2019. Still the quarterback 2, but it was when he lost his clear wide receiver 1 in Stephon Diggs. These guys are both still high upside quarterbacks. I think they're going to go in the first 2 rounds or first few rounds, and they are going to be my tier 1 options. Then in tier 2, I think these guys are also high upside players. We have Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts. A super impressive rookie season out of Jaden Daniels. 21.9 points per game in his 16 healthy games. Just remove the one where I think he attempted like 2 passes. You take out that game, he would have been the quarterback 3 tied with Joe Burrow. He's going to come with that elite rushing production. He was top 3 in carries per game, red zone carries per game, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns. And with that type of rushing production, he does have that league winning upside where he could definitely finish as the QB1 overall. And then the other guy here, Jaden Daniels, just super consistent. In his last 4 seasons, he has finished as the quarterback 6, quarterback 2, quarterback 1, and quarterback 6 in points per game. He has rushed for at least 10 touchdowns in all 4 of those seasons. Last year in 2024, he was first in carries, red zone carries, and rushing touchdowns. As long as the tush push is still legal, which it will be for 2024, it's going to be tough for Jalen Hurts to not have a super high floor and a pretty high yearly ceiling. And then also still has very strong weapons with A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. Don't see why he would take a dip this year. He's been a super consistent option. I think he's going to remain that here in 2025. Then in tier 3, this is going to be a one-man tier. This is where I have Joe Burrow. Now, even though I do have him kind of ahead of, the dudes in tier 4, I do expect Burrow to kind of get a little bit overdrafted heading into this season, and he's coming off a great year. He was the quarterback 3 at 21.9 points per game. He passed for over 4,900 yards, 45 total touchdowns. But even with that insane ceiling, that is a career year for pretty much any quarterback as a passer, he just doesn't have the rushing production to give him that insane QB1 overall upside compared to a guy like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, a Jalen Hurts, a Jaden Daniels. He averaged 2.5 carries per game, only had 6 total red zone carries. And so sure, it's possible he repeats that amazing passing season he had last year. But even if he does, he's kind of finishing around where he'd get drafted at the quarterback position. I'm probably not going to be taking him in the first 4 rounds, maybe round 5, you start to consider it. But I'm kind of willing to pass on these more pocket pass heavy quarterbacks just because the ceiling's not there. And I think you can get potentially higher ceilings from guys that might be going in the double-digit rounds. So that's my tier 3. Tier 4 is, I think, where this video starts to get interesting. I think you could make the case for a lot of different guys here. I probably went with an unpopular pick, and my quarterback 6 is going to be Kyler Murray. I'm going to be higher on him than consensus. It feels like overall, both for redraft and for dynasty, that there's just Kyler fatigue. I'm not quitting him yet. He's a quarterback who has proven to have a very high floor. He's been a top 12 quarterback in points per game in all 6 of his seasons. He's peaked as high as the quarterback 3 in points per game. He's someone who does provide that legit rushing upside. He's rushed for at least 500 yards in 3 different seasons. He has a strong group of weapons around him, an elite tight end in Trey McBride. I think a lot of people are projecting this huge jump from Marvin Harrison Jr., and I might be a little bit more pessimistic about this huge leap. But like, if you're someone who thinks Marv is going to take this huge jump, I think you should probably also be betting on Kyler, because I don't know how he does that without Kyler having a really, really strong passing season. So he has that rushing upside. I like the weapons he has around him. He is going to be my quarterback 6. Then my quarterback 7 is going to be Justin Fields, another call that might be kind of controversial. But when Justin Fields is, out there playing as the starter, he is someone who provides real upside at the quarterback position. In 2022, he was the quarterback 5 in points per game. 2023, he was the quarterback 9. In 2024, in the 6 games that he started, keep in mind, they had a training wheels offense around him. It was not a great offensive line, really bad weapons. He was still the quarterback 7 in points per game in those 6 starts. And he goes to the Jets this year, and it's not like they have some sort of, insane offensive core around him. And it's not like they gave him this monster, long-term contract in free agency. But it does kind of seem like they've committed to building around him, or committed to him as the starter, at least in the short term. They didn't draft any quarterback, in the 7 rounds. I think they picked up an undrafted free agent. They have Tyrod Taylor as the backup, who's just a very clear, veteran presence, going to be the clear quarterback 2 behind Fields. It's not like it's some sort of quarterback controversy. They've kind of worked over the last few years to bolster their offensive line. He has a wide receiver 1 in Garrett Wilson, not that he's some sort of elite wide receiver 1, but it's better than what he was working with the Steelers. And he also has the upside to, lead the league in rushing yards. He rushed for over 1,100 yards in the 2023 season. So I do like Justin Fields here. I think he's in a better system than he was last year. He's proven he can be a solid fantasy option. And he's one of these dudes where it might seem weird that he's my quarterback 7 and Burrow's my quarterback 5. It really just points to the upside that you can get from a rushing quarterback, where Fields doesn't even have to be a good real-life quarterback to still produce really strong numbers in fantasy football. Then my quarterback 8 is going to be Patrick Mahomes. I could totally understand ranking Mahomes higher. He's got just these weird past couple of seasons where from 2018 to 2022, he had 3 top 2 seasons. Every other year was at worst a top 6, a quarterback 6 finish in points per game. Then in 2023 and 2024, he was the quarterback 10 and 11 in points per game, and he didn't hit 18 points per game in either of those seasons. And it really just came down to a drop off in his efficiency. The touchdowns weren't there. The last 2 seasons, he has passed for 26 and 27 touchdowns. He had thrown for at least 37 touchdowns in 4 of the 5 previous seasons. And so you can paint the picture where Rashee Rice is back. He's balling like he was early on in the season. Xavier Worthy picks up where he left off last year. Kelsey still has some juice, but it's still not close to the core he had where he was thrown to prime Tyreek Hill, prime Travis Kelsey. And he did have one big season, when Tyreek Hill was gone, but it's just been underwhelming the last couple of years. Even those big games early on where Rashee Rice was balling out, Mahomes still wasn't producing for fantasy. So I think quarterback 8 is kind of fair. Maybe you put him ahead of Fields because you're just more confident he's obviously going to be, the locked-in starter for the full season barring injury. But quarterback 8 in tier 4, I kind of feel like this is the general area where he should fall. My quarterback 9 is going to be Bo Nix. He was the quarterback 8 in points per game as a rookie. Really strong rushing production out of him. He was 5th in carries and 5th in red zone attempts, 8th in rushing yards. Kind of had a slow start to the season, as you'd expect for a rookie quarterback. But in his last 13 games, he averaged 20.9 points per game, which is really solid production. And that's what he was doing as a rookie without a super strong core of weapons around him. The Broncos have made some upgrades on offense. They brought in Evan Ingram. They drafted RJ Harvey. I mean, if he could get any sort of production from this run game, that would be amazing. And RJ Harvey also is a very solid pass catcher. Not a huge Pat Bryant guy, but bringing him into the mix here, you could also be expecting, some development from these younger dudes. Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin. Devon Vele isn't really young, but, heading into his second NFL season. So if he was the quarterback 8 last year, it's not crazy that he could come back and deliver a very similar or even better season in 2025. And then the last guy I have in this tier, someone who I think people are going to think I'm low on, I have Baker Mayfield, and he is coming off a super impressive breakout season in 2024, averaged 21.5 points per game, was the quarterback 4 in points per game. He was top 3 in passing yards and passing touchdowns. He has solid weapons around him once again, pretty much better than last year. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, those guys are back and hopefully healthy this season. They draft Emeka Egbuka. You have Bucky Irving, Rashad White. The run game really came together last season, but it's tough to not look at last year and view it as just a real outlier from every other one of his seasons. Now, I'm not saying he's just going to fall back down to, the previous seasons. I clearly think something has been figured out here. He, has a home in Tampa here. He has nice weapons around him, but he had never been better than quarterback 17 in points per game. Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator that really kind of unlocked things and unlocked the run game, he's gone. And so I'm not saying he's going to be like a mid-tier quarterback 2, but when you haven't been better than quarterback 17, you have this huge boom year where you're the quarterback 4. I'm not going to be willing to just vault you up there into that quarterback 4 territory. If you want to say you think he can repeat and he should be towards the top of this tier, I think that's fine. I'm not going to push back a ton, but I'm probably not going to get any higher than somewhere in tier 4. I think you could argue him up at number 6, but tough for me to get any higher than that. And then moving into my final tier for this video, I'm going to start off with Caleb Williams, coming off a very underwhelming rookie season. Him and Jane Daniels were both kind of viewed as guys who could come in and produce right away. For Jane Daniels, it was the fact that he had that floor and ceiling with the rushing production. For Caleb Williams, still had some decent, rushing upside, but it was just more so he was stepping into what people thought was going to be a super friendly year 1 situation with strong weapons, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet. Obviously, it was pretty much just a disaster season for this offense. He finished as the quarterback 21 in points per game. I do think his rushing upside is slept on a little bit. He was 7th in carries and rushing yards. And I know it's kind of similar to what I was saying last year, but he is heading into likely a great system this season. Ben Johnson as the head coach obviously seems to be, head and shoulders above of what they were getting last year out of their coaching staff. Still strong weapons with DJ Moore. Rome Odunze hopefully used more optimally this season. They draft Luther Burden, Colston Loveland. You still have Cole Kmet there. So I still believe in Caleb Williams. I think it was a disaster around him. I think he figures things out this season, and I think we could see a huge year 2 leap where he's a mobile quarterback, giving you some of that rushing production, and I think we could see huge improvements from him as a passer and his passing numbers. And then the other guy I have in this tier, this would kind of be like a continued tier if I was going outside the top 12, but I have Brock Purdy. He has been the quarterback 6 and quarterback 10 in points per game back-to-back years. Injuries around him, I think, definitely hurt his 2024 passing numbers, but he kind of showcased some new upside as a runner, rushed for over 300 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's not anything insane. He's never going to be in that, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Fields tier. I think that's pretty obvious. But if you can get into that next grouping, the Mahomes area, where you can hit 300 yards, the touchdowns aren't going to be super sticky year to year. But if you can be in that 3 to 6 area, you're going to give yourself a nice yearly bump. So he pretty much nearly doubled his totals, or I think he did double his totals from 2023, and I believe 1 less game. So that was good to see. You're obviously hoping for health around him. Brandon Ayuk coming back. You're hoping Kittle can stay healthy. CMC you're hoping is back. Obviously a great weapon as a pass catcher. And then you're hoping a dude like Ricky Pearsall can kind of take a leap here heading into year 2. Hopefully coming into the season, not coming off of being shot like he was last year. So I think Brock Purdy's a really interesting later round pick where you feel very confident at worst he's going to be a fringe quarterback 1, back in QB1, maybe close to worst case scenario, a higher end quarterback 2. But then if he hits in the touchdown department, someone you could see the upside where he could potentially slide in as the quarterback 7, quarterback 6, quarterback 5. So that is going to wrap it up for my top 12 quarterback rankings. Like I said at the top, I think it's a really interesting season for the position heading into drafts this year. But let me know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed, hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you all for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one.